Toxic friend talked behind everyone's back, so I made sure everyone heard. I, 18F, graduated high school this year. I went to an all-girls Catholic school, where most of my classmates were shallow and cliquey. Being an introvert, I would have kept to myself with just 1 to 2 close friends, but I have decent social skills and made a few more friends in 11th grade due to some health issues. I figured it wouldn't hurt to be on good terms with my classmates, especially in case I needed help. Among my classmates were 2 best friends, let's call them Serenity and Shithead. They were some of the smartest in the class, so I decided to befriend them. Serenity was sweet, helpful, and mostly kept to herself. Shithead, however, turned out to be one of my biggest mistakes. At first, Shithead seemed like a typical gossip, but my intuition told me she was a snake from the beginning. Still, I put up with her since I didn't want to be isolated. Everything changed when Serenity decided to get more involved in student politics and ran for head girl. Good for her. But Shithead? She hated it. She started with comments like, "Serenity never spends time with us, she's always busy with her other friends." At first, I thought she was just feeling lonely, missing her best friend. But she quickly escalated to outright insults. "Serenity's so full of herself, she's not even that great. I could get the head girl position in an instant if I wanted." I brushed it off as petty jealousy, nothing worth getting into. Little did I know, though, that after falling out with Serenity, Shithead would make me her new target. She upgraded our friendship to best friend status, and I quickly learned that Shithead had an issue with everyone. She would trash talk classmates, teachers, even family members. For 2 years, I tolerated her endless rants, in person and on calls, usually biting my tongue and ignoring most of it. By the beginning of 12th grade, things took a weird turn. We stayed back at school for a 2-night camp, and since Shithead didn't bring her phone, she was entirely dependent on mine. One night, my guy friend, who has had feelings for me for a while, though they weren't reciprocated. Shithead was jealous of that too, of course asked if he could call. We were supposed to be having fun, but Shithead insisted I pick up. For half an hour, she hijacked my phone, talking to my friend while I held the phone, present but unable to interrupt. When my other friend wanted to show me a picture, I left them alone for a moment. When I returned, she said, "2 adults are talking here, do not disturb." I decided to be a good sport, so I left them to it. She ended up monopolizing my phone and my friend for 2.5 hours, draining my battery. She refused to hand my phone back even when I asked multiple times. A few months later, we were assigned various group projects. Naturally, I took on the leader's role because no one else would. During a call, we were discussing props, and I mentioned I'd asked some classmates if they had a doll we could use. She snapped, "Don't ask why. She probably won't have one." I replied, "It's a doll, everyone had one as a kid." Then she said, "She might have one, but it won't be good quality-wise." I asked, "Why?" She replied, "Because she belongs to a lower class, no offense." I was furious. I barely managed to end the call without going off on her. Later, we were discussing transportation to a friend's place to work on a project model. I mentioned that Z was having issues with her ride and asked if Shithead could drop her off if needed. Z is a dear friend of mine, so when Shithead replied, "I'm sorry, but Z's mom isn't that busy, she's not a lawyer who gets many cases," it was my final straw. I stopped speaking to her, outside of project work. Because of the project, I had to interact with X, another friend of Shithead, not Serenity. During our conversation, we found out we both couldn't stand Shithead. We'd both been faking our friendship with her, biding our time until graduation to cut her off. X then revealed all the vile things Shithead had said about me, body shaming, bragging about being prettier, and worse. One day, while I was at X's house, we called Shithead without telling her I was there. That's when she hit a new low. She commented on my looks, said I was draining, claimed she could easily beat me in a fight, and then said, "Don't tell anyone, but I think Op's parents are getting divorced." I was livid. That was something I'd shared in a vulnerable moment, and she had no right. At that point, I decided it was time for revenge. I had always had a good reputation and was known for being friendly and reliable, so when I finally gathered all my classmates, told them what Shithead had been saying about them, they had no reason to doubt me. And in case anyone had doubts, we made a group chat where I sent them proof. Because I might have ignored her bullshit, but my phone didn't because it's on auto call record. Call recordings and screenshots of her talking shit about almost everyone, out in the open. Hannah, she said you go to a cheap hotel with your boyfriend and got pregnant. She even claimed you had an abortion. Anna, she said your house is barely furnished and looks awful, and the home-cooked meals your mom makes taste like crap. And Karen, poor Karen. She called you lower class and said you were beneath her. This made that poor girl cry because she has been going through some financial struggles and thought Shithead was a good person. 10 and 1 aired every bit of her dirty laundry, and soon everyone was in on it. The drama escalated quickly, reaching the teachers and eventually the principal. When they reviewed the evidence, recordings, screenshots, everything, they were stunned. The principal called her and her parents in. My classmates and I even submitted a signed petition listing her offenses: sexism, racism, classism, and more. Her dad was in tears. I did feel a bit bad for him, but she sat there in denial, saying, "I didn't mean it that way." She got her ass handed to her by the principal. After that, everyone avoided her like the plague. She even hijacked the Quiet Kids group, complaining about the whole situation until one of them ran to my group, begging, "Please save us, she's talking our ears off." She ended up sitting alone at our farewell, clicking selfies by herself. I don't usually take revenge, but she crossed the line when she went after my parents. Let me know if y'all are interested in an update because there's more. Update: a few things that I forgot to mention since all this drama took place over a long period of time and it's hard to summarize it all. Shithead cursed her own parents and brother on multiple occasions. She also had this frenemy, let's call her Sally. Sally had an on and off relationship with her boyfriend David. Shithead at that time was dating David's best friend Derek. Sally introduced them. So, she started talking to David and became his friend. While she was still with Derek, she admitted to me and X that she feels some spark towards David. A short time after Derek abruptly ended things with her, she, who claimed that it was just a spark, nothing more, went and confessed her feelings to David. Therefore, coming in between David and Sally. She got rejected, but still, that was a huge breach of girl code. Apart from this, she has also said things about X's boyfriend like, X isn't that great academically, but her boyfriend on the other hand is in the top 10 of his class. He's preparing for so-and-so exam and is so smart. I have no idea why he is dating her. He is way out of X's league, she doesn't deserve him. She then sent a follow request to X's boyfriend. He's loyal, so he didn't accept it and told X about this. Shithead then changed her PFP to a picture of her face, previously it was a blurry candid, and sent a request again, thinking her beauty will sway him or something. When he still didn't accept her request, she said stuff like, "He's such a lapdog. Now that you have a better idea of how she is as a person, let's move on." I graduated and moved to another city with my fam right after, glad that I had finally gotten rid of Shithead. I was wrong, of course. I was settling in my new place when one day I wake up to a missed call from her at 3 to 4 a.m. I decided to call her back. She told me that her mom passed away. I won't go into details about that out of respect. I couldn't believe it and I wanted to be there for her in this difficult time, no matter what happened between us. She was crying and talking about her mom and I was trying my best to comfort her. It had only been a few hours. She then continued to bring up the tea that went down in high school, and how she was wronged, and I have no idea what she went through. She went on and on and on about that instead of her mom. I couldn't believe she was bringing that up when her mom had literally passed Euro-D away. I thought, maybe she processes grief differently, so I chose to not make any comments about the school drama and I just listened to her. I was there for her and let her know she can call me anytime. It had only been a few days, 5-something days, and she said that she has moved on mostly, apart from the occasional reminders and memories. I was shocked because I could never. But again, everyone processes grief differently, so I just told her that she's so strong. She subtly attacked me by saying that one can't survive by being so sensitive and we have to be strong, etc., etc. I ignored it. She then continued to rant to me about how she has so many guy friends and so many romantic prospects and how she never really got along with girls. After this, she kept calling me a few times a week, and I picked up thinking she might need someone to vent/talk to. But she only talked about boy drama and at times still bitched about X and other classmates. Across all these phone calls she started to weave a tale of how she met this guy who is filthy rich. He has his own multiple startups and his dad owns various companies in our country and abroad. How he offered to gift her diamond necklace and earrings casually, and she refused such an expensive gift. She then told me that soon after they started dating, his mom passed away too. And about 1 month after that his dad remarried. She first said that she was jealous of the stepmom because stepmom and her boyfriend had been getting too close for her liking. By this point I knew she doesn't need me for emotional support, so I started dodging her calls, picking up once in a blue moon. The next time we talked, I was hospitalized, and I told her about that, yet she, after showing a few minutes of fake concern, started to tell me how she was now okay with the stepmom and liked her. I was lying in my hospital bed, in severe pain, listening to how boyfriend's dad had started acting weird and sent him to handle a sketchy deal despite knowing it's dangerous just because he has now inherited the company and should be more responsible. He then got $T-ed by the middlemen, went back a few days later, got $H0T and was now in a coma. She continued to say how she was more worried than his family. She also fed him the same "you shouldn't be so sensitive, you should be strong" bullshit to him when his mom passed. Anyways, a few months later I pick up her call, and she's now telling me that his aunt has been doing black magic on him because she wants shithead's boyfriend to marry her daughter, his cousin, so that she can inherit the wealth. Shithead continues to tell me that his health being bad, and him getting $T-ed and $H0T were all because of black magic. This was the end of my patience. I haven't picked up her calls since then because I'm seriously done. I've got to set up boundaries because she is just using me to cure her boredom ATP.